Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you probably already know that this is my new 1-month-long series in which I am diving into a beautiful deck called The Tarot of the Holy Light by Christine Payne-Towler. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing a daily draw, and I'm sitting with that daily draw during the course of the day, and then I'm looking at the book to see what the book says about what that card represents, and coming on and doing a very rough ride video because I'm on vacation. You probably know this, I'm on vacation, and I don't really have the time to do a full setup of a video, and I don't have the resources. But here we go again. And the card for today was the Judgment card in reverse. Let me give you a close-up shot of this card in reverse, the Judgment card. Let's see, I can do better at that. There we go. So, I pulled this card, and my first thoughts, let me give you my first thoughts, coming from a Rider-Waite-Smith based system, right? My first thoughts, the Judgment card, reversed, would be ignoring the call, ignoring the signs, ignoring the call to judgment, or not paying attention to the karmic impact that we have on the world. Yeah, for example, we all pretty much know that we put things out into the world and we get a karmic response to that which we've placed out. So we do good things in the world and we get a perhaps potentially better karmic result than if we do harmful things, right? So the Judgment card can be an awareness of the karmic effects that we have had in the world and the return from that. The reverse of that might be an ignoring of that, of not paying attention to it or not taking responsibility for our karmic responses or the karmic response to our actions in the world. Personally, I believe that karmic response ends at the time when we leave these bodies and begin new lives. I don't believe that follows us from life to life. My own personal belief system. You believe you, I believe me. But so, in reverse, those are the things that I think of when I think of Judgment in reverse. And so, I pulled 3 Rider-Waite-Smith cards to give me a little bit of insight into that reverse Judgment card so I could take that into my day. And here is where I will put those 3 cards right now. So, you saw the cards. There were 1, the Queen of Pentacles, then Temperance, another major arcana card, and then the Hermit, another major arcana card. So what did I think of when I pulled these cards? Yeah, the first one would be the significance of the reverse Judgment card. The significance is, for me, the Queen of Pentacles is the nurturing one, the taking care of one, the one that provides for or sees to the physical health, nutritional, financial needs of those around them, right? The Queen of Pentacles, and the one who appreciates the beauty and the physical abundance that is there for all of us, for each of us. And this is a beautiful card, isn't it? I love her. She's truly an ultimate Queen of Pentacles representation for me. Look at her attitude, her confidence, her strength, her basking in the sunlight even. Lovely card. So that was a little bit surprising to me, that the reverse Judgment card is giving the significance of being the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. So then the Temperance card. Now, the Temperance card, usually we see an angel pouring water between two vessels, right? Here we have something very different. Let me look at it. You just saw it, the cards all together. What do we see here? We see a human figure with angel wings, so we got that sense. But instead of liquid being poured between them, we've got two discs, the gold and the dark, the light and the dark discs. When I first saw this card pulled out, I thought, oh yeah, it's the Two of Pentacles. The balancing and juggling of material. That makes sense coming from the Queen of Pentacles, but it's not, right? It's the Temperance card. But still, coming from the Queen of Pentacles, this being either the obstacle or the help, made me think, oh, okay, so instead of Temperance being the moderation card, taking it, not going to an extreme, I wanted to pull in that Two of Pentacles understanding of balancing things. Balancing things like material things, not balancing activities, but balancing the material. Coming from the Queen, that makes sense. So, taking care of other people, being nurturing, appreciating, and not going to extremes, but balancing that. So perhaps taking care of self and other. Seeing the abundance of self and other. But then the advice card was the Hermit. Right? The Hermit. And especially in this image of the Hermit, I see the light shining from within. So the advice for this Judgment in reverse card was to see the light shining from within, which is interesting. It makes sense a little bit, even in the Rider-Waite-Smith system of Judgment reverse, that, okay, the advice is, well, then let the light shine out, right? Stop ignoring, stop not paying attention, let the light shine. Follow the light. Now let me read you what is in the book. Because what is in the book, I think, sheds even more light on my experience of the day. So let me read you a little bit, not the whole thing, just a little bit. So let's begin with this. Here, the soul comes into a set of capabilities that is commonly considered to be beyond human ability. Yeah? Abilities beyond the human. Now, this is for the upright meeting. I'm starting with the upright. To state this more plainly, Saturn's effect is to rip through the astral ground of being with a super low frequency like that of an earthquake. In the process, he shakes apart those structures that are used up, flimsy, and non-sustainable. Yeah? Breaking through those walls like the tower cracking, but in a much more positive, much more enlightening way. This relates to the light that has been trapped in the transitory forms of matter, liberating it for the return to the monad, to the God, the essence, the divine creator, the monad of this universe. Saturn is no respecter of individuals, nor can one bargain with one's karmic debts. When the trumpet blows, we each are awakened to who we truly are. Again, that makes sense, Rider-Waite-Smith, but we've got a little bit more of that breaking through of self. Once this call has been sounded, the soul has permission to preempt any material reality that holds it back or inhibits it from the fullest expression of its divine potential. Makes sense, right? The call breaks us free from the trap of the material realm. This is what the Zen masters mean by seeing the face you had before you were born. Now, seeing the self as we have been, the eternal self that each one of us is and has been before we entered into these bodies and began co-creating them, and will continue to be when we leave these bodies. Good, so that was all upright. Now reverse in this deck, it's interesting. In reversal, the concern is that the price of responding to this call may be to lose your former self. So it's not hearing the call, ignoring the call passing you by, but that the price is that you really are going to strip yourself of your former self. Anything less than full commitment is inappropriate given the opportunity being offered. So, in the reverse of the Judgment card in this deck is not a blockage, it's not a passing by, it's actually an emphasizing of it, the importance of it. That this opportunity is even more important and more essential, we might say, than even in the upright. Let me tell you what happened today. So today, I went out from the boat. I was going to get on a hop-on, hop-off bus, but things went awry at the very beginning. I'd purchased a ticket, got out, waited for the bus, and the bus driver wasn't showing up. The bus was there, no driver. I talked to another bus driver. The bus driver said, oh yes, that bus driver will come when we leave. So I waited and I waited. As I was waiting, there was a man, very, very clearly homeless man, who came up. I had my large bottle of water, asked for water, and I was confused a little bit, and I gave him gave him the bottle, and he started to walk off with it, and I said, well, I'll give you the water, but I want my bottle back. And so he turned around, came back, and I helped him open the bottle. He drank from the bottle. I was getting a little bit concerned of, should I really be sharing a bottle, pandemic, all of that, but I went through with it. I felt the call, you might say. And so he gave me the bottle back, and he sprawled out on the grass, and we said a few words to each other. I mean, it's not like there was a coldness between us, or either one of us was being curt. It's just that this didn't take much time. He sprawled out on the grass. We said a couple of things, and he looked at me and he said, and we were right by the water, the ocean, I should say, not just water, but the ocean. It was there were docks there, and there was not a beach, just the street, drop down ocean, right? So he looked at me, looked at the water, and said, it's probably too cold to take a bath. I thought, okay, yeah, it's probably too cold to go swimming, sure. Then he got up, he walked over to the edge, looked down, and jumped in. Jumped into the water. It wasn't a short drop. It was at least a couple meters down into the water. I assumed. I was startled. That first bus driver I was talking to had seen it, and he got startled, and he dashed to see if the guy was okay, the man was okay, and so I followed suit. And as I'd gotten up there, I couldn't see very well, and I asked the man, is there a way for him to come back up out of the water? There's no beach nearby. It's all docks on the sides. And as I asked that, the bus driver looked at me, and then I got to the edge and I looked down, and I saw that there was a ladder. The ladder came up to the top, but there wasn't any way there weren't any handles or any bars up above the flat surface. Yeah, the ladder came up to here. So the guy I saw was coming up, and he looked like he was okay, but he didn't look particularly strong. So he was coming up, and I asked him, do you need help? He said no. And I wasn't going to leave. I watched him climb up to the top, and I could see that he didn't really have this easy strength to lift himself up and over. So I reached my hand down and grabbed his hand and brought him up. And he got up, he shook himself off, and he wandered off. So everything seemed fine. The bus driver called me over. And he said that he had checked. The bus that I was waiting for wouldn't be leaving for another hour and a half. And he suggested that I could get on his bus. And so I got on his bus and was able to take off around the time that I had hoped to take off, but I would not have been able to begin my journeys if I had just been sitting there waiting. I would have wasted half the morning. Now, that's not such an important thing, but it was interesting and a little bit miraculous, perhaps. I went to a palace and the doors were closed. It was fine. The doors wouldn't open till afternoon, and I didn't want to hang out there and miss other things just to be able to walk into the palace. So I moved on, and I went to find some stuff for my mother. Yeah, her battery on her her blood sugar testing machine had run out of juice. The replacement lancets to her lancet pen didn't match, so I wanted to get some stuff done for her. I went to a couple of places trying to find the right place that would sell stuff like that. Found a pharmacy eventually, after asking this person, going here, asking another person, going there. Found a pharmacy by accident, trying to find something else. And then I found a store that sold the batteries. I couldn't get the lancets, but that wasn't as urgent as getting batteries for the blood sugar testing machine. And I got the batteries, and I was leaving. It was an underground basement store, a very ritzy building. Was going up the elevator. As I was rising on the elevator, I saw a water station, a place that people could get water. And at that moment, I saw that, and I realized I had left that water bottle that I'd offered that homeless man. I left that back in either the pharmacy or the grocery store. Fortunately, I went to the pharmacy and it was there. But if I hadn't seen that, I probably would have wandered off somewhere else, left my precious water bottle, it's a stainless steel thing, back in the pharmacy, and probably never would have found it again. And a few other events in the day progressed like that. And last thing, I was waiting for the bus to come back to the ship, and that same bus driver on the other line saw me, called me over so I didn't have to wait for my other bus. I got on his bus, and he took me back to the ship. Because perhaps I was following that call. That call was even more poignant, even more meaningful, even more at the present moment significant for me. If I hadn't followed that call, I would have wasted half of my day in one activity or another. Now, you might say, well, that's not important. That's not like enlightenment. It's not like going to heaven. It's not like becoming a saint. No, but I did follow a call, in a sense. I followed a couple of calls. They weren't the most significant. I mean, one could argue that reaching out, the Good Samaritan act of giving water to a stranger who looked like they might not have been all that clean, could have been somehow a holy act. I don't feel like it was that important. I mean, I think it was a good interaction. I think it was an important human interaction, but I wouldn't say that I became a saint in that moment, by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. However, following that call made the day, like this seems to indicate in reverse. Like the Queen of Pentacles, caring for others and myself, and following the light from within. Does that make sense? I think this was very interesting. So, that's it for today. So friends, hit the like button if you're still with me, so YouTube knows to show this to other people. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos. I'm going to try to do daily videos as I'm here on vacation. We'll see what happens. And a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear what you got from this card in reverse. I'd like to hear what you got from those additional Rider-Waite-Smith 3-card spread. From that additional Rider-Waite-Smith 3-card spread. Comment in below. And if you want a private reading from me, in the description box below there will be my Instagram link, and you can click on that, head over to Instagram, send me a direct message, and we'll figure out a way for you to get a reading from me. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.